What's up, guys? Today I will be telling you my F1 2022 predictions for the upcoming season. And I know this is a bit of a late video as the race is next Sunday. It's Wednesday now at the time we're recording, so not too far away till the first race of the season. But I wanted to do it after testing to get more insight on the teams and the drivers. So I'm going to start with constructors. So in 10th, I'm going to go with Alfa Romeo. I say this because their car didn't look the greatest during testing, just overall not looking very quick. And also with the new driver Zhou Guanyu, I don't think he'll get to grips that quickly with the car and won't be on top form and competing with the other drivers like the Haas or Williams drivers. And also, I know Bottas is an experienced driver and race winner, of course, multiple race winner, but I just don't think Alfa Romeo will be any higher than 10th. 9th, I've put Williams, and I know that's not a popular opinion and that Williams should probably finish higher than that, but I just think that compared to the other competitors, I doubt they'll be finishing higher than 9th. I know Alex Albon, he will be bringing a lot to the team. I know that Latifi is improving a lot, but compared to the other teams, I just don't think they'll be up there. So moving on, in 8th, I put Aston Martin. And the reason for this is because they just also, as well as Alfa Romeo, they just haven't looked quick in testing. Just overall, they just haven't looked quick, and I doubt they'll be challenging as well with Alpine and AlphaTauri, who will be a lot up there, I think. So in 7th, I think that Haas will finish in 7th. If this is the case, that'll be a great recovery from Haas, and especially also, I think they'll finish this way because they have been saving a lot of money and development from starting over a year ago now on this season. So I think they will be a lot better this year. And also with Kevin Magnuson coming back to Haas, I think that really will boost them up. And also Schumacher, he's had a year of experience in the Haas, so I think he'll be a little short of Magnuson due to Magnuson's experience, not just in Haas but in F1 as well. I think they'll both be pretty good this season. So moving on to the midfield now, I think that Alpine will finish 6th. This because they were looking quick in testing and good. Also, last year they were great as well. But I just, compared to AlphaTauri, I don't think they will be as good. And also the fact Sonoda, I think he will step up in AlphaTauri. And also in the last race in Abu Dhabi, he finished P4. Great result. It's actually best result in F1. I think he will be better this season, and he will be helping Gasly to drag AlphaTauri a lot higher this season. And I think Alpine, they will be, of course, competing with AlphaTauri throughout the season, but I just think overall they will be finishing in 6th. That brings me on to AlphaTauri, who I think 5th, and they will be, I think, challenging very, very close to McLaren this season. I feel like the drivers will be very dotted, and it will be like sort of their own midfield fight, and it will be quite interesting to see who comes out on top there. So moving on to the top 4, I think McLaren will finish best of the rest. Lando's just been on really, really good form last season, and I think he will definitely carry that out to the 2022 season. And I really hope that Daniel does a lot better than last season. He can really go up, could go up from here. So moving on to the top 3, this will be at the sharp end and be very, very close at this point. I have put Red Bull. So I think Mercedes will finish 2nd due to the fact that Mercedes car, they have announced, and we can see in testing that it won't be that quick at the start of the season. So I think that will really drag them down a bit, and Red Bull will be faster than Mercedes at that point. And also with Red Bull, throughout the season, I feel like Perez won't be as quick as the other 5 drivers. So I think he will bring the Red Bull points down. And don't get me wrong, Perez is a solid driver, but last year he just wasn't delivering as much as he should be, in my opinion. And I know it was a lot better coming to the last of the season, but throughout the season he just wasn't good enough. And I know Max is on another level, but he should be a bit closer, in my opinion. So Mercedes, as I said, I don't think they'll be as quick as Red Bull at the start, but they're a very professional team. They know what they're doing. They've won 8 constructor titles in a row. I think they can't get this wrong, so I think they will be a lot better throughout the season. So for that, I'm saying they'll finish second. So that means I think that Ferrari will win the constructors title in 2022. So that is my constructors prediction. So now let's move on to drivers. So as I said about Zhou Guanyu, I think that he will finish 20th because, as I said, I just don't think he'll get to grips with the car that quickly, and I think it will take him maybe a season to get ready. And I know that he finished 3rd in Formula 2 last season, but also compared to the other drivers and that he's the newest, he's a rookie in F1 at the moment, I just doubt he will be performing to the level of the other drivers. And I know a lot of you will think I'm harsh as saying this, but I put Bottas in 19th. And I know Bottas is a solid driver. He's Hamilton's teammate for 5 years. He was a multiple race winner, and he's been a great wingman to Hamilton. But I just don't think that the Alfa Romeo will be performing as good as Williams, the Haas, the Aston Martin. So I've put Bottas in 19th, unfortunately. So in 18th, I put Latifi. And Latifi, he's been improving a lot, in my opinion, but compared to Schumacher, compared to Albon, compared to Magnuson, I don't think he will be performing to their level. And yes, he has been improving. I reckon he will get a few points this season, but I think 18th is where he'll finish. So in 17th, I put Schumacher. He was considerably better than Mazepin last season. Way better. And you don't need to be know anything about F1 to know that. He was consistently better than Mazepin by a big margin, and I think he will get points this season, get a lot of points, especially with the Haas being a lot better. He came second fastest on day 3 of preseason testing. I know that might be, I don't know, a fluke maybe, or something wasn't right. Maybe the other drivers weren't pushing as much, but that's still really impressive. He came, I think, 5 tenths off Verstappen, so on a softer tyre as well than Verstappen. So I think that he will come 17th though. And 16th, I put Lance Stroll, and that means Aston Martin will be very, very low down. But compared to Albon, I put Albon in 15th. I think Albon will beat his teammate by 3 positions. So I put Stroll in 16th. I just don't think the Aston Martin will be performing that well. And I did put them in 8th in constructors as well. And also, as much as Stroll, he's an average driver, I just don't think he will be up there, or just not really. I think he'll be just below the midfield, in my opinion. So I put Albon in 15th. I think Albon will really shine this season, and he will prove that he is a really good driver. And as it shows compared to Latifi, I don't think he'll be like Russell was compared to Latifi, but he will be not far off that, I think. So in 14th, I put Magnuson. I think he is a very experienced driver. His racecraft is really good. He's very aggressive, and I think that he will be a lot of the time getting to those midfield positions and racking up points for Haas. And 13th, I put Vettel. It's unfortunate for Vettel because I think this could be his last year in F1 as well. Because if he's not satisfied with the car, I think he will not hesitate to leave the sport. So in 12th, I put Yuki Sonoda, and I know he's on the rise, but I just don't think he will be as good as the Alpine drivers. I think he'll just be in 12th, but not far off the Alpine drivers. I know that I put AlphaTauri in 5th, but I just think Sonoda, he's not quite there yet. So in 11th, I put Esteban Ocon, I think, and 10th, I put Alonso. I think Alonso that will best Ocon in this season. And I think they'll be just there in the midfield each time, just maybe getting the odds P8, P9. Not much more than that, I don't think. But I do hope they compete for podiums, etc. But I think P10, P11 is where the Alpine boys will finish. In P9, I've put Daniel Ricciardo. And I hope that Daniel will be a lot better this season than what he was last season. And I know that he finished 8th last season, so that's not really doing him justice, putting him a position lower with more experience than McLaren. But I think that the top 6 drivers in the top 3 teams I put in constructors will be better. And also in P8 I put Pierre Gasly. I think he is on another level. I put him 4 positions ahead of his teammate, but I think Gasly is he's doing really well at the moment in F1, and I think he much deserves his place in P8 in the driver's title there. And just above Gasly, I put Lando Norris. I think that Norris is on great form at the moment. I think he will be also ahead of Ricciardo this whole season. As much as I really like Ricciardo, I still think Norris will be ahead of him throughout the season. So moving on to the top 6 drivers, P6 I've put Sergio Perez. He will be close, but I just don't think that he will be above P6. I think that Russell, Sainz, they will be ahead of Perez this season. And so moving on to the top 5, I've put George Russell. His first year in Mercedes, I really hope he does well. I hope I get proven wrong. I really want him to finish above 5th. I think he will also be very much Lewis's wingman this year and will be helping Lewis, because this could also be Lewis's final year in F1. And I think whatever happens, he probably will retire by the end of this season, because he is very, very hungry for one last World Championship to be statistically the best driver of all time. So I think Russell will be helping him with that this season. So I think he will be maybe sacrificing his own races sometimes to make that happen. So in P4, I've put Carlos Sainz. I really rate Carlos. I think he's a great driver, but I just think even though he came ahead of Leclerc last season, I think that Leclerc will be ahead of him. I think Leclerc deserved to be ahead of Sainz last season. They were so close most races, but I rate Leclerc just that slightly more than Sainz. So moving on to the top 3 drivers then. I've put Lewis Hamilton to be in 3rd. As I said before, I think the Merc will be not as quick as the Ferrari and Red Bull at the start of the season, but I think as the season goes on, they will develop their car and be a lot faster. But I think that Hamilton will be in 3rd. So the top 2 is between Leclerc and Verstappen, and I have put Max Verstappen to finish 2nd in the championship, which means Charles Leclerc will finish 1st in the Drivers' Championship 2022. I think Leclerc has been on great form. He's always been on good form, in my opinion. And so is Verstappen, I know, but I think the Ferrari will be an excellent car this season. He can do it, I reckon he can do it under the pressure and be able to fend off Verstappen, who will, of course, be trying to defend his title with the number 1 on his car. Leclerc will win the championship, I think. And I know in a year's time I'll look back at my predictions and probably be very, very wrong, but we'll see about that. So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and let me know what you think in the comments below for your predictions. And goodbye.